Going live.
Okay.
I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Dom beat. 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 Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle.
All right. What's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing tonight out there? Good? Okie dokie, guys. I've gone ahead and I've shared this link on the Turtleboy Sports Forever page, as well as the Clarence Woods Emerson page. So if you guys could go ahead and share that for me. And, Dr. Shiva, if you wouldn't mind, you have a pretty big following on Facebook. If you want to tell some of your followers to come on over, you can send the link.
I can. I have to ask Jen. Let me send her a note to her.
Yeah. You need the link to the YouTube?
Yeah, if you can send me the link, I just have to call her up.
Yep, I will go ahead.
I don't know what the matter with the sound is. I'm not sure if everyone else is having this problem, but your sound is cutting in and out.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, yours is cutting in and out. Okay, but yeah, it's basically I hear every other word that you're saying.
Can you hear me now? Is this good?
It is. It's
okay.
It's rough. Yeah.
Okay. I am gonna post. I'm gonna sit. We have a little private chat in here. I think there's a private chat thing. Can I send you this?
You know what you can do, Aidan? Can you call me if I mute this so I get you on my? So I'm going to mute this. Can you also just call me on the phone so I get your voice clear?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going
to. Okie dokie.
Well, yeah. Let's call me on the phone. I'm going to lower the mic here so I don't get feedback. If you can call me on the phone, that way I can hear you better.
Okay.
Just call me on my phone.
Calling it right now.
Aidan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, much better. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
This will work. I can hear you perfectly. This will work.
Okay, this works. All right. So I'm just going to hold it like this. Can you hear me if I'm like this? Can you hear me good? Is that okay? Where'd he go? Did we lose him? Are you freaking kidding me? We lost Shiva? What the hell's happening right now? All right, hold on. We're having to. So the reason we were late, guys, is because the inventor of the internet, the inventor of email, had some internet issues. There he is. Okay, so Shiva's back. Let's see if we can get him on. Are you with us now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Do I need to have the phone on?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, let's see. Try it without the phone. Let me see how it sounds. Say something.
Hey, what's happening?
Say something. Do a test 1, 2, 3, Aidan.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent you in the private messenger, Shiva, a link to the whatchamacallit, the YouTube stream. So if you want to share that on your channel.
Yeah. Let me just send to Jen.
Yeah. I know you got a lot of fans over there that would want to follow this. So, okay. So while he's doing that, guys, welcome to the live show. I apologize about the delay. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, the election and stuff going on. Just a reminder, if you guys, this episode is brought to you by Turtle Riders. So if you guys would like to donate to the show, boom, I just put the link in the comments. If you leave a comment with your dono, I'll read it off, no matter how inappropriate it is, unless I'm legally bound not to do so. So there's that. And other than that, let's just get started and jump on this. So with us tonight is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Shiva, we've had Shiva on the program several times before. His picture's not there now. We've had Shiva on the program several times before, and he's run for political office. In 2018, he kind of made headlines when he ran as an independent against Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, and his slogan, of course, was only a real Indian can beat a fake Indian. He's also the inventor of email, and a really interesting and colorful character. This time around in 2020, he was running for the Republican nomination against whoever the winner of the Democrats would be, and that turned out to be Ed Markey. And he had an opponent, Kevin O'Connor, and the election results came in on Tuesday night. And as of right now, the official results say that Kevin O'Connor had about 60% of the vote. Shiva had about 40% of the vote. And there was a difference of about 53,000 votes. It's like 156, I want to say, to 103,000. Now, Shiva disputes this. Why?
So, ask the question again, Aidan. I didn't hear the last part.
So what do you dispute about this election, the results?
Well, I dispute the entire thing because you have a guy who no one knew. We built an actual campaign bottoms up. This guy was nowhere to be found. No campaign, no organization, nothing. And this will go down in history as one of the biggest election frauds brought to you by Charlie Baker on the Swamp. And what you have to understand, Aidan, is that, last 2 years ago, I ran as a Republican. So we want to get the facts clear. I ran as a Republican. Mm-hmm. And in response to that, Baker, a couple of things I think the audience needs to understand. There's two people that really control the mass GOP, Charlie Baker and a real dirtbag called Ron Kaufman, which a lot of people don't know who he is. And it took me a while to understand all the swamp politics, but Ron Kaufman is a guy who came out of the Bush administration. He worked with Andrew Card. And 2 years ago when I ran, I was very naive, bringing into this mass GOP swamp of people who, by the way, hated Donald Trump. The current fake Trumper, Jim Lyons, wouldn't even put a lawn sign of Trump on his lawn. He goes, "Get that fucking sign off my lawn." That's what him and his wife said. So these are the facts. So you have Baker and Kaufman who run essentially what you called a quote unquote Republican Party, which is not a Republican Party. As everyone knows, Baker didn't even want to vote for Trump. When he was voting for his election, he said, I'm not going to vote for Trump, which the only other option was Hillary Clinton. So in that background, when I never thought I'd run for electoral politics, never was frankly interested in it because I never voted for anyone. I have a clean voting record. The only guy I ever voted for in my life was Donald Trump in 2016. I was invited to the inauguration, went there, and I was very motivated because I said, this guy is truly a fighter. He's a disruptor. So I decided to run as a Republican in 2017, February 2017. I was the first one to announce. And I thought the Republican GOP would embrace a guy like me because they're supposed to be based on meritocracy, right? Bottoms up. And who better than me, who came to this country as an immigrant like all of us did, or our grandparents did, worked my butt off, working class kid, 4 degrees from MIT, started 7 companies, created thousands of jobs in Massachusetts. What I found was not a open embracement, but Baker and his clan were actually not about winning against the Democrats. They don't want to win. And this is something people need to understand. They have a power sharing agreement. So when I ran, the response was they had no intention of putting me on the ballot. And that's when I came to find out, and this history matters to what we're talking about today, is that I found out they were never going to have me on the ballot. As you know, in any off-year election, there are 2 things that need to be done to get on the ballot, right? In an off-year election, when it's not a presidential race, for example, like 2018 was, in order to get on your party's ballot, you need to get 10,000 signatures for a U.S. Senate race.
Okay.
Verified signatures, and you need to get 15% of the Republicans who come to the state convention to endorse you. Now, we got 26,000 signatures, all collected by hand. The other guys who are crooks pay for them. We got 26,000 signatures, got on the ballot. However, we knew that they were never going to give me the 15%. Why? Because in the middle of my running, I heard a very, very...
So look, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to stay on task here. I know there's a whole history here, but I want to talk specifically. You're alleging voter fraud in this election.
Yeah, that's what but you need to know the background because
but it's like a 407 years ago thing. It's
well, I need to give the background because this background is essential because most people who are get brought into the Republican Party do not know the background of this disgusting organization, which is against the working people, particularly the white working class. So what happened in 2014, that I found in 2018 was when Charlie Baker was running against a guy called Mark Fisher, and people can call Mark and look at all the court cases. Mark was running against Baker. He had all the signatures. He went into the Republican convention with 30% of the convention people saying they're going to vote for him. He needed 15%. Well, guess what happens? He gets 14.9%. And you know what they were doing in the back room? And Aidan, you can run your own investigation. I'll give you leads. They were shredding Fisher's ballots.
Okay, what you mentioned that yesterday. What evidence do you have of that?
I'll give you people who were there. You can go talk to them.
And they saw they so there was the abbreviated background.
Go do the research because what needs to happen is I'm not here to defend it. You guys should go do the research. I did the research. I spoke to the people and got the evidentiary materials. What was more interesting was he got 14.9%. They were literally shredding ballots in the back office. And
but what evidence
saw this?
Who saw people shredding ballots?
I'll give you the names offline. You can go talk to Fisher. Why don't you go call up Fisher himself? Mark Fisher sued, and they were so afraid they settled this out of court. Hey, Michelle.
Okay, so let's talk about this election because that's what we're here to discuss. You said, why do you think that Kevin O'Connor cheated, and how did they cheat? Okay, we're having some issues. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully, I don't know what's happening with his internet. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. You guys can hear me, okay. So he's alleging voter fraud right now. He's alleging that he lost by 53,000 votes, 20%. It's a landslide. It's not close. And 256,000 people voted in this election. And he's alleging that 100,000 people just did not. Oh, let me bring this up. Hold on one sec. Bring it up right now. Okay. Shiva's frozen, huh? Let me text him one more time. Hold on. I'll call him on the phone real quick. Hold on.
Back in. I'm not sure what happened. We're getting back in.
Okay. All right. I'll see you on. I'll bring you on when you get there. Okay. Wait. So he's alleging massive voter fraud in an election that really wasn't close at all. He has so far provided no evidence of that. And this was his kind of closing remark.
Fraud. And God save us, we have the Second Amendment. That's pretty much what I have to say, unless everyone wants to add anything. So, fuck Kevin O'Connor, fuck Charlie Baker, screw all these guys, because they're all frauds. They've never worked a day in their life, and screw them.
Okay.
They're scumbags.
Scumbags. Okay.
Okay. What's that?
So this is going to be a theme with Dr. Shiva. Is everybody is a scumbag pretty much. Everybody's a crook. And I'll tell you one thing. No matter what happened in this election, if he lost, there was a 0.0% chance that he was going to accept the outcome of a loss. Like a 0.000% chance. And I'll show you what he can present his case when he comes on here, but allow me to present mine, that there was no voter fraud in this election. That is my assertion. About 260,000 people voted in the Republican primary, right? There it is. 156 to 103 adds up to about 260. Now, in 2018, he's alleging his whole thing here is his evidence is that in 2018, voter turnout in 2020 was supposed to be 25% more than it was in 2018. And here's Shiva. Do we have you on this time, Shiva?
Can you hear me now, Aidan?
I can hear you. Yes.
I'm not sure what's going on, Michelle.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's unfortunate. Anyway, so Aidan, what I was saying was the history is extremely important to understand the context. So in 2018, I was registered as a Republican, going to run as a Republican. And when I heard about because you had to get 2 features that you needed to get on the ballot. And when I heard what happened to Fisher, and you can go look at the Mark Fisher story, it's very well documented. Fisher sued Baker because they didn't put him on the ballot. 30% down to 14.9%. You needed 15. Again, documented.
Okay.
He sued the Mass GOP. They were scared shitless because he had all the data. They settled out of court for $250K. So when I saw this bullshit, and then, by the way, I spoke to Ron Kaufman. You know what Ron Kaufman told me, who's now the head of the Mass GOP, the National Committee? He said, never say anything against a Democrat, Shiva. So I knew these guys were full of shit. So I decided, I was forced essentially to run as an independent. Furthermore, they had this jackass, Jeff Deal, and this is the kind of candidates they put up, a complete loser who photoshopped a picture with Trump, 3 hands in the picture, because now the Mass GOP wants to start acting as though they're Trumpers. Okay? So you have people putting on Trump hats, and overnight they're Trumpers. So you had Deal, who photoshopped a picture with Trump, running as their candidate. So we ran as independents. And that candidacy, our independent candidacy, we got on the ballot, bona fide candidates. The Mass GOP and Elizabeth Warren made sure we weren't allowed to be on the debate stage when we fulfilled all criteria. And you can see the multiple videos where they kept us off the debate stage. And
I remember that. I remember all that. But let's talk about what evidence do you have that there was voter fraud?
Wait a minute. Just wait. You need to understand the context, because if you're going to go to a reductionist model, I'm not going to do this call. Okay. Because we need to take. Wait a minute. You're talking to a guy who's a scientist who studies this stuff.
Yes.
Who studies statistics, who studies mathematics. You're not talking to a Jeff Deal. So we need to understand the context of the system here. So you have a highly corrupt Massachusetts GOP party who did not want a true American like me. So we were forced to run as independents, and we ran as independents. Deal and the Warren campaign kept us off the debate stage. That's the scumbags you're dealing with. So let's talk about the level of standards. Scumbags.
Yes.
Now, I decide to run as a Republican this time. All right? And we ran a campaign bottoms up. And what was that campaign based on? Truth, freedom, and health. A very powerful back-end campaign. 3,200 volunteers on the ground. We raised close to $1.5 million, 800,000 in cash. Bottoms up. You can go look at average $17. A bottoms up campaign. This fucking guy, your cocksucker, wasn't even anywhere to be found. Okay? Nowhere. Appointed by Charlie Baker, a Romneyite, gave money to Markey.
Can I interrupt?
Was saying Trump. No, I want to finish. Trump was divisive, and you're saying people are thinking he's a Trumper, and supported George Floyd, and recently took down that site. Okay?
Did you debate him?
So we're talking about total bamboozlement of the Republican Party. No presence, no organization, no campaign. What did we have? We hit 250 towns. This guy was nowhere to be found. On the ground, on the day of the campaign, people said, Shiva, you have this by a landslide. Multiple polling stations. 60-40 across the board. No freaking way. What evidence do I have?
No, what polling stations were you talking? What polling stations were there? I didn't see any.
Say that again. I think, Aidan, can you call me on here so we can hear you better? Call me on my phone because the voice is horrible. Thanks.
Okay.
Let me mute this. Go ahead.
Hello.
The question that needs to be asked here, that everyone on the ground knows, is where did this guy get 60% of his votes when no one even knew him? 339 views on his YouTube video. We have close to 1.2 million views. If you just look at it from a marketing model, basic marketing 101, you have advertising and impressions, and you have results. No impressions, no advertising, no brand equity. And he gets 1.5 more times votes than me. Unheard of. This was one of the biggest election frauds that was pulled off, because what you will find in a week that we can't share with you today is that it is very easy to manipulate elections through these systems that they have today. And that's what took place.
Okay, so what evidence do you have
about it next week?
What evidence do you have?
As I went into it, go ahead, Aidan.
What evidence do you have that voter fraud was committed? What's your evidence?
Aidan, can you repeat that? I can't hear you.
What evidence do you have that voter fraud was committed?
Or what do you consider evidence? Define evidence.
Evidence, something.
What you define evidence?
A
what
witness?
Is the definition of evidence according to science?
Okay, do you have any? You're making a pretty strong claim.
No. Define evidence. You're talking to a scientist. Define evidence.
Evidence, something that can back up your claim.
Define evidence.
I just did.
What is it? No, that's not definition. Let me tell you the definition of evidence. It's unambiguous predictions. Okay, that's what evidence is to the scientist. When you have a very clear ambiguity of the fact, and we're getting all the data to put together, we'll come back on your show and share it. When you have the fact that there's a direct relationship with the fact no visibility. Why did they do visibility analysis in every polls? Why did they do that, Aidan? Why was there not one freaking poll done in this campaign? Last time 4 polls were done. Because there's a correlation between visibility and votes.
Do I get to talk? I mean, you're doing a lot of talking and you're not letting me talk.
I can't hear you though. Your voice is going in and out, Aidan.
I don't know what to say. Do I get to talk? I need to be able to talk, and you seem to not want me to be able to talk. So here's my thing.
Well, listen. Maybe we shouldn't be talking now because you want the evidence. And
no, I want to have a conversation, but I need to be able to talk. Okay, so here's the deal. You're saying that widespread voter fraud happened, and you're alleging that your big claim to me when we spoke yesterday is that Bill Galvin suggested that voter turnout would increase by 25%, and instead voter turnout in 2020 was almost the exact same as it was in 2018. Both times, about 260,000 ballots were cast in the Republican primary, and so that to you is evidence that you believe that there's ballots missing. However, what you're not taking into account with that is that in 2018, only 600,000 people voted in the Democratic primary, whereas this time around, 1.4 million people voted in the Democratic primary.
Okay, Aidan, you know what? You seem to have already a decision, and you seem to want me to defend myself. So I'm not here to do this with you. So I'm not going to do this with you because you seem to be setting me up when I can't share the evidence. And I told you, our lawyers said you can't share the evidence. No. If you want me to give you my rational argument, I'm going to do that because I'm not going to be set up. I'm not that stupid.
I'm not setting you up. This isn't Howie Carr.
Right, then are you going to let me talk? Because you already seem to have a assumptive close on what you think is happening.
We're having a conversation.
And I've worked.
I share my opinion.
Why don't you just talk and share why you think what I'm saying is not even have any rational sense? Because that's the way that you're pursuing this discussion. But if you want to have a scientific discussion with a scientist, then we can do that.
Okay, can I ask you one question? Can I ask you one question?
No. We should have a framework for this discussion. Why don't we take a step back?
All I want to know is why you didn't debate Kevin O'Connor. That's all I want.
You know what? Discussion over, because you know what? When the mass GOP, see, this is what I knew you were going to do.
What? Ask the question.
If you want to vote for
Why
O'Connor.
are you so afraid of questions?
Wait.
Why do you want to talk to an
Wait a minute. They didn't give me the
question?
chance to debate in 2018, Turtleboy. Listen, Aidan. You go ask why they didn't put me on the debate stage. I'm not going to debate a guy who's not even worthy of my debate.
Worthy of your debate?
So anyway, it's over. You don't want to have a real discussion.
You're afraid to talk to me?
You're afraid to have a real discussion.
We are having a real discussion. You're running away.
You want to run away. You support Baker. You're supporting Baker.
What?
You're a Baker boy.
I'm a Baker boy?
You're just supporting a guy. You're supporting a party which didn't want to have a debate in 2018. 3 debates that kept me off.
I'm supporting the party of Donald J. Trump.
No, you're not. You're just supporting a guy. You're following the argument of people who I'm not going to give my 2.
You're running away. We're having a conversation and you're running away.
No.
Why are you running away?
No, because you are doing okay. Why don't you just keep talking to yourself? Go ahead.
I mean, well, we're supposed to be having a conversation.
No, we're not. We're supposed to talk about voter fraud, and you're talking about an argument put forward by the establishment because a guy is a cocksucker and didn't have any viewers, and he was going to use me to get his viewership when the mass GOP colluded with the Warren campaign to keep me off the debate stage. Until they apologize, there's no debate, and that's what I've said.
I was bringing up the relevant point. I was bringing up
no. It's called fairness. Listen. You listen to me, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm a person of integrity. I'm a person of principles. When they follow principles and you talk to me about debates, you go turn your guns and ask them why they kicked me off the debate stage 3 times. Otherwise, you have no authority to ask me, period. There's no discussion on that. And if you want to talk about that, go call the Boston Globe, go call WBC why they kept a bona fide candidate off the debate stage.
Why you decline?
No, you go ask that. No,
Why
I'm asking you a
you
question.
I mean, I'm asking
I don't
you.
have to answer your question. Who are you? I'm on equal footing with you. I do journalism myself.
Okay. So why wouldn't you
If you want to do this for your viewers so you can get the views,
No,
I'm not here to provide you.
Like 10 times, right?
When they can put me on the debate stage, in the 3 campaigns, there were 3 debates. They kept me off. I didn't see you bring this up, did you?
Bring what up?
The fact that they kept a bona
Yes,
fide
I did actually. I actually wrote about
you
that.
didn't. No, you didn't.
To the archive. To the archive.
Did
I
you-
brought it up several times.
Did you call up Jeff Deal why he kept me off the debate stage?
Yes. I
When?
called you out in a blog for not allowing you on the debate.
When did you call up? Did you call up all 3 debates? Why they had the police there? It's
Yes.
on video. Me and Owen
Yes.
Troy are there.
Yes, I did a blog on that. That's correct.
Right. So when they apologize,
He left. Shiva, I lost you. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
But you're not on the screen anymore.
Okay, wait. The Globe called me out.
Like we can't. Nobody can hear you if you're not on the screen. Okay, hold on.
Okay. The Globe called me out, and I said, "Are you going to?" They wanted to do interviews with me. Everyone said, "Oh, you shouldn't be on the Globe's interview." No, we have principles. You apologize for not putting me on the debate stage. Same with WBZ, and they have to do that. They did it 3 times, and these scumbags want me to debate a cocksucker. That's what he is.
He's your opponent, though. You can call him whatever you want. He's your opponent.
No, not my opponent.
He's not your opponent.
He's not my opponent.
Then what is he?
he's just a cocksucker. He got on there. He got on there because Charlie Baker appointed him your supposed enemy.
Yes, but he was
not my opponent. No.
He was on.
We're fighting against Markey and Kennedy. He's not my opponent. He has
was
no
your
view,
opponent. I assure
no
you he was
name
your
visibility. He would not have been allowed on the debate stage. How do they decide who gets on that debate stage? What are the criteria that they use?
You were
know what
invited on the debate stage and you didn't go.
No. You're false. Now you're applying a different rule. Apply the same rule just because I'm me. Apply the same rule. What are the rules that they apply to get on the debate stage, Aidan?
Were you invited on the debate stage this year? Yes or no?
What are the rules?
I don't know. You tell me, Shiva.
Okay, well, you should get, before you even throw a ridiculous, insulting question, the rules are called favorability and visibility. That's what they used on me last time.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
Sure. I mean, you
It's called
educate me.
favorability and visibility.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Oh, hello.
The 2 criteria that are used that they said that I didn't qualify when I did, and we had to take it to federal court, was visibility and favorability. You had to use minimum criteria, okay? And I was at 67% visibility and 10% favorability. And we had to bring in an MIT professor, which we filed a federal lawsuit. Were you aware of that? We spent nearly $30,000.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Well, you should be aware of that and you should cover it. So
Yep.
we brought the #1 guy who's the head of the MIT statistics unit, and we clearly showed that I was at 60. In fact, the UMass polls, they didn't follow their rules. Now they want me to get on a guy who has no visibility and favorability. When they applied that to me, those are the criteria for the debate stage.
So
There was only 3 people.
okay. So
They
you're
kept
saying
me
that
off the
the guy
debate
is,
stage.
you're saying that
So
the guy
when
is
you can answer that question, then you and anyone else is qualified to ask that question.
okay. Who did?
Because you have to apply the same rules, not one rule for them and another rule for me. No
Okay.
freaking way. I'm an American. I'm a Republican. You apply the same rules. You can't apply one yardstick when it's convenient and for another one for me. Because
So
first of all, I would have destroyed this guy on the
You
debate
didn't
stage.
destroy him. Well,
Everyone
then,
said he's
like,
afraid
what do
to
you mean?
debate you. This
What
is
if-
just a
what if this guy
technique.
you turned
And we're
down-
not going to give him access to my viewership. That's what he wanted because he has no viewers.
You didn't need your
And
viewers.
anyone in media knows that. People want to associate themselves with the aura. But you know what? They did not follow the rules last time nor this time. Yeah.
Okay, so you turned down a debate with him.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. You
So
did
this looks like it's a setup, Aidan,
not
what you're
a
doing.
conversation.
So I think that's what you did because you needed me to get some viewership.
I don't need
Because what I'm hearing is all the comments are negative because people know I'm very passionate. And that's what this looks like.
all the comments are negative.
And you're changing the rules. This is
I'm
all
not-
about being for somebody on the topic that we did not agree to discuss. So I don't really take
We're
this
discussing the
valuably
election.
because
We,
when you go talk to the Boston Globe and WBZ, go interview them on that
Steve,
issue.
are you running away?
Talk about
Are
this
you running away from this interview?
No, you're running away from the
I'm
interview.
right
You're
here. I'm not
changing
leaving.
it, and you're being disingenuous.
You keep
So don't play
me.
games with me.
I'm not playing games with you. I'm asking
Yes, we
straight.
did. This was supposed to be about
You
election
are
fraud.
alleging voter fraud in this election, and I'm
Right.
asking you. What,
All right.
and I've asked you. So here's. Let me talk. Kevin O'Connor, you're claiming he had no.
No, I'm not going to talk about him. That's not about him. There's no discussion about him. If you
Why
want
not?
to talk about him,
We can't
then
talk
you go
about
bring him on
him.
and have a good discussion. It's over. You want to talk about voter fraud? We can talk about that. You've lied on the basis of this meeting, and that's not what we're doing.
We talked about.
We talked about election fraud.
You can't talk about the guy.
If you want to talk about election fraud, we will. Is that what you want to talk about?
You're alleging that he cheated, right?
You want to talk about election fraud?
Sure.
If you want to talk about him, go get him, and you can have all your people go talk to him if they think he's a good guy. But
Yeah,
if you want
I'll
to talk
have
about
him on.
election fraud, that's what we
I'll
will.
have anybody on. I'll have anybody on here. I don't care who it is. I'll interview.
All right. You know what, Aidan?
What? I'm
not a monkey to be played with.
I didn't. Who said monkey? What are you talking about? I'm trying to have a conversation.
Michelle is here. I work from 4 a.m. I just finished dinner.
Okay.
And I'm not going to be disrespected. You told me this was going to be about election fraud.
This is about election fraud.
No, it isn't.
What is it about then?
You tell me what it's about.
Okay, so we're talking about this election. You're saying you lost. As of right now, the official results, you are down 53,000 votes. You are alleging 100,000 votes are missing. Where are they?
What do you want to talk about, Aidan?
I just asked.
You want to have an open conversation about what
you're alleging
talked about in our campaign, or do you want to just
I want to talk about
so you can look good in front of your audience?
I want to talk about election fraud. You said 100,000 votes.
Do you want to have a conversation, or do you want to get eyeballs?
I want to have
I
want to have a conversation about election fraud.
Do you want eyeballs? Because that's what it looks like you want.
As I just said 3 times, I want to have a conversation about election fraud. And you're alleging.
So how do you want to have that conversation?
Okay. So I would like to say you are alleging that about 100,000, that's your estimate, 100,000 votes were either thrown away or destroyed or whatever. Where are they?
By the way, Aidan, I can't even hear you.
I don't know what.
All I'm getting is feedback on here.
Okay, so you're alleging that 100,000 votes are missing. Where are they?
That's not the right question. You want to understand the process that we're talking about?
I'm just asking you a question.
Listen. If you want to ask a question, it's a conversation.
Why
You're
can't
not.
you ask a question?
Wait. Stop. This is a conversation. You're not interrogating me. I'm not going to do that with you.
I'm interrogating and asking questions.
No, you're asking where is 100,000?
Yeah, you're alleging.
No, it isn't. No, we're having a conversation.
It's a pretty serious accusation you're making.
It's a pretty serious idiocy if you're saying that it didn't occur and questioning the legitimacy of my conclusions. Well, so if you want to have a conversation,
tell me how you read.
Listen, Aidan.
Yeah.
Either we're going to stop this, or we're going to have a framework of a conversation. So let's discuss how we're going to have a conversation.
It sounds like you're trying to make me. You're not letting me ask questions.
No. It's a two-way conversation. It's not your show. It's our show. It's not your show. I don't need your eyeballs. I got my own.
True. Yeah. You have an echo chamber. Yes.
All right. I have an echo chamber. All right. This discussion is over. That's insulting. Okay.
Why?
No, you have an echo chamber of people who are commenting negatively about me. That's what
they're doing. I see a lot of people shitting on me in the comments. I welcome people shitting on me in the comments.
Michelle, is anyone shitting on him? You don't talk to me about as an echo chamber. That's fucking insulting.
I saw Courtney.
Listen. Shut the fuck up and listen.
Okay.
You shut the fuck up. I am a person who works my butt off. And if you want to say it's an echo chamber, it's not a conversation. I've respected you. I came on this. I haven't given interviews to anyone else. Boston Globe, Boston Herald, WBZ. Now, if you need hits so badly, it's over. But if you want to have a conversation, we're going to have a framework for a conversation. If you don't, there's no conversation.
All right, what's the framework, Shiva?
The framework is it's equal terms. I'm going to educate your viewers on what the swamp we have. That's number one. That's part of the conversation. And if you don't hear that, there's no conversation, because the conclusions we've come to from running a real campaign, and part of this is you need to understand that the mass GOP appoints people. They choose designated losers. And if you don't want to understand that phenomenon, you won't understand the basis of fraud. There's two pillars here of where we get to fraud. Number one, there's a history of fraud this organization has done called the Massachusetts GOP, who sucked the cock of the Democrats. And there is the other aspect of the fact that they do not ever want to win a Senate election. There's a power sharing agreement. Now, those two historical facts need to be understood. And if you want me to explain that, then you will understand the basis of election fraud. But it's like the blind men touching the elephant, right? They just want to touch the tusk and this little pieces. You won't get it, nor will your audience. And
so you're saying that
my background is a systems guy. I spend my life educating people on systems.
Okay.
And that's why we don't give interviews to scumbags like the Globe or the WBZ, because that was part of our campaign ethos. We don't do that because the mainstream media wants to have little headlines. So no, we have to have this conversation. So the framework here.
Talk before we're having a conversation.
So part of it is a framework of educating your audience.
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
So I would argue, Shiva, that the fact that, I don't like the Boston Globe. I don't like.
Hey, Aidan, when you put the phone down, I can't hear you anymore. I get feedback. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't like the Boston Globe. I don't like WBZ. I don't like, the deep state. We have a lot of the same enemies. Okay.
Right. And we have a big opportunity on this call.
However, I would argue that your inability to.
I can't hear you, Aidan, when you put the phone down. I'm sorry.
I would argue.
I can't hear you when you put the phone down. Go ahead.
The phone's not okay. I would argue that your inability or unwillingness to not only engage in the debates and speak to the Boston Globe and stuff like that, that hurt your visibility. And Kevin,
no, it didn't hurt my visibility.
Hold on.
Absolutely
Kevin,
false.
Hold on.
They needed me. The Boston Globe, I'm sorry, needed me.
Do I get to talk? Because you interrupted.
Yeah, but you just made you made a statement.
No, you can rebut after I'm done talking. Okay. So Kevin O'Connor, I saw him on TV all the time. I saw his commercials all the time. I hated his commercial. I did a whole blog on how much I disliked his commercial. So he had visibility. My state representative is Kim Ferguson. She put out a thing endorsing him. My state senator Ryan Fatman, almost every single member of the state house endorsed.
Yeah, so this is
all
irrelevant.
Say that he had no visibility.
He had no visibility. He had visibility. Everywhere. Wait. You're watching the swamp. You weren't on the ground.
I'm watching TV. I'm watching the internet.
You're in an echo chamber of the people. This is how they run. So let me educate you.
Okay.
This is the way they run elections. It's top down. They make the Democrats call their union buddies and they get their ads out there. They get their stupid little endorsements and they call that a campaign. It's sort of almost campaign in a. Hey, Aidan, can you put this up? Because I think it's when it's near your speakers, I get all this feedback.
Hold on.
You get all that feedback?
What's wrong with your computer that you can't talk? I don't understand.
No, it's you need to put the phone. You need to put your phone away from your speaker. Can you bring it up close to you?
Okay. Yep.
That's much better. So, look, Aidan, what we're fundamentally talking about is there's two types of campaigns: a bottoms-up campaign, where people actually do campaigning, which means you go connect with your voters, bottoms up. What you're talking about, that's bullshit. It's not a real campaign. The Democrats, we didn't see Kennedy out there. We didn't see Markey out there. We didn't see any of these guys out there.
I saw Joe Kennedy everywhere.
Their campaigns that they run, it's two different campaigns. You got to put this close to your voice, Aidan. Can you please do that?
It's on my shoulder.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback from your thing. So the campaign that they run, Aidan, is not a campaign that's a bottoms-up campaign. So if you want to run for office, you go to your Democratic Party establishment or your Mass GOP, and the model that they do is they wire you up to their state reps, their little cabal of people. They give you stupid little fucking endorsements, and then they connect you to their union guys, and they hold your signs. Many of the union guys do it because they're going to get fired. Same thing with the RTCs and Mass GOP. That's what they do. That's not visibility. That's bullshit. And then they get Deal or Lindstrom or these people to endorse you. And that's what the fucker did. That's not a real campaign. No one knew about this guy. I can bring thousands of people on this call. We didn't know who this guy was. Nobody, not an echo chamber. I'm talking about serious business people in this society. You may not know about them because you're in the echo chamber listening to Fat Man and all these people. I'm talking about real citizens. There was no one who knew about this guy. Okay, period. So you're talking about this little echo chamber of people. If you consider that a political campaign,
156,000 people knew about him. They voted for him.
Oh, really? You're assuming there was no voter fraud.
You're saying that, well, you've yet to explain how there was voter fraud.
I told you you wanted to do this interview. I said our lawyers are filing a suit. I'll bring all that data next week. It'll be public.
So, but yesterday when we spoke, you had evidence that.
Well, no. I said that we're getting the evidence, but what I'm telling you is evidence is unambiguous predictions. What I'm telling you is that you're living in an echo chamber of listening to these little people. Go on the ground. Why don't you come on the ground with me tomorrow? You want to come on the ground with me?
What does that mean, on the ground?
On the ground. I mean, actually talking to voters.
Well, I've talked to voters all the time.
No, you don't. You want to come on the ground? Wait.
I don't talk to voters? Who are you to tell me?
How about this? You come tomorrow and I'll bring on my channel and you can get call after call after call after call. No one had ever heard of this guy anywhere. Do you want to hear that?
I mean, so you know that doesn't.
You got 100 people on here. I can bring 10,000 people on who will tell you that. Do you want to hear that?
Yeah. Well, you had 100,000.
No. You got 100 people. I'm talking about I can bring 10 to 20,000 people who are actual bottoms up working people, not little dweebs who read the Globe or people like that. I'm talking about working people.
Shiva, every Republican, I voted for you, Shiva. Okay. But every single Republican I know voted for Kevin O'Connor.
That's not what I heard.
Well,
that's what I heard.
People send me pictures of the ballots, Shiva. I have pictures of ballots.
Well, we haven't gotten the ballots. We are getting that data. Have you seen the voters list and the ballot cast? That's the actual data. No, you have to. Have you seen the voters list?
No, have you? You're the one making the
allegation. We just requested them.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
That's the first thing. And the second thing is to get the ballot images, because that's where you'll see the fraud, and we're getting them. Okay. The bottom line is this. This guy, nobody knew. And if you think anyone knew him, you're in a very small echo chamber, man. And you're out of your mind if you think that's what was going on.
Okay, but so far, you have yet to provide a single shred of evidence that actually you're making the claim voter fraud.
No. You don't know what the definition of evidence is. You don't know what Wait. You don't know what evidence is.
I do. It's the available
evidence. It's unambiguous prediction.
Wrong.
Is evidence.
Wrong. Evidence is the available body of facts indicating whether or not a proposition is true or valid.
No, that's not true. Evidence is unambiguous prediction.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, you can't make up. The definition.
Evidence. Okay, well, you know what? You don't have engineering degrees. You don't have science.
Oh yeah, you're so much smarter than me.
No, I'm not smarter. That's the definition.
I don't have an engineering degree. But you have no evidence. No evidence that voter fraud.
You know, Aidan, if you don't want to agree on what the definition of evidence is, then we should have a conversation about that.
Okay, but you have no evidence that voter fraud occurred.
You have no evidence that it did. No. Wait. Unambiguous prediction is evidence.
You have no evidence whatsoever.
No.
That's not what evidence is.
No,
evidence
you are saying that with such authority based on nothing, that he was visible everywhere.
You want to see what it's based on?
False. Let's start with the false piece of evidence you just have. You have a false piece of evidence. Everyone knew him. False. That's false. Visibility. His visibility. No, that's false. That's the first evidence you need to connect to voter fraud. Visibility is connected to votes. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why they use a visibility factor in determining everything. When they have 17 people being invited, they say, what's the guy's visibility? What's the guy's visibility? What's the guy's visibility? This guy's visibility was near zero. Okay?
You got 156,000 votes. It says it right on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's above zero.
That's what we're calling it voter fraud.
But you have no evidence of that.
No, I just told you what visibility is.
Okay,
Zero visibility.
You cannot provide a single
No.
voter fraud. You're just dancing
basically, Aidan, I am here and you're here just to attack me, to say that I'm just coming up with random stuff.
No, you're the one.
Because you don't understand what visibility is.
You're attacking the winner of the election and you're calling him a cheater.
What is the definition of visibility? Okay, we're just yelling at each other. Do you know what the definition of visibility is?
What is visibility? You tell me.
It's like the #1 thing in election theory.
Okay. But you have
You're telling me that what evidence is when you don't even know what freaking visibility is.
Shiva, you wouldn't debate him. Why wouldn't you debate him? The Mass GOP invited you to debate him, and
you know
wouldn't.
what? Why don't you go suck his cock?
Very mature. I mean, maybe that's why you lost, Shiva. Maybe comments like that.
No. Maybe why we lost people like you who claim you're against Baker are here arguing with a guy who ran a real campaign against a guy
who run a real
election with the Mass GOP who had zero visibility. Hey, you know what? Come on my show tomorrow. I'm going to invite you to come on my show tomorrow so you can talk to real people because you're
talking right now.
What you want to come on the show tomorrow?
Conversation right now.
No, you're not. You're going back. You're being disingenuous again. We said I'm asking you the framework of having a discussion. There's 2 pillars.
Yeah, so you're just getting around. You won't answer the question. You're being typical.
No, you're not answering the question.
I'm asking you a question, and you're like, well, 7 years ago, let me tell you about the swamp and Mark Fisher.
I can't even hear you.
Talk about any of those people, Shiva. Talk to me about
this. Speak to yourself, Aidan. You seem to be having a good time masturbating with yourself.
Yes, I'm masturbating with myself. That's right.
Go ahead. Speak to yourself. You seem to understand what visibility is. You seem to understand statistics. You seem to understand correlation. You seem to know everyone on the ground.
Use words like this because I know your followers are very stupid.
So go defend him.
Mocking your followers because they're not smart people. Okay, and that
you seem to think
work with them, but I'm not one of your.
I'm a dumb person. You're the most intelligent person. You seem to know everything. That's how you're talking.
I'm much smarter than your voters. I'll tell you that much. I've seen the people coming to your page. I would not be proud to have those.
So now you're attacking my voters, so we know where you stand.
Yes, you have stupid voters.
Great.
Okay, that's fine. Stupid voters, you need. Trump likes the poorly educated. It's okay to have stupid voters.
Aidan,
but
why don't you do your interview with yourself?
Very intelligent.
Why don't you do the interview with yourself? Because you seem to have all the answers. Go ahead.
I've given my because you're not answering any questions.
No, go ahead. Answer. No, because you don't want to answer the question to yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, so why won't she? Why won't you debate Kevin O'Connor? The answer to that is simple.
Answer the question
you're afraid to debate Kevin O'Connor. You're afraid.
Answer the question to yourself and have a good time. Go ahead.
I just did. You're afraid to debate him. Right?
Go ahead. Keep repeating that.
Keep repeating it. I don't think you're denying it.
Keep repeating it.
You're not denying it.
Say it more. It becomes truth. Keep saying it.
Okay.
Have a good time. Keep saying it. Keep saying it, Aidan.
I just did.
Go ahead. Are you done? Great. Show's over now, right? So you've proved your point. You know it all.
I know that you have zero evidence of voter fraud. Zero. You're making a
you have all the evidence. You have all the evidence, visibility, correlation, and you do this work for a living.
Let me tell you the definition. Do you guys know the definition of this?
Go ahead, Aidan. How about this? I'm going to leave, and you can have a conversation with yourself because you seem to love to hear yourself talk.
Okay,
and you just want to use me as your monkey. And Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai is not your monkey. Period. Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. So bottom line is that
bottom line is this.
Okay, you tell me.
You're disingenuous. You didn't want to have a conversation.
I didn't want to. Agenda, you didn't want to participate in it.
And you're using me, and you were disingenuous and insincere
about shit that nobody really cares. I mean, nobody cares about that. People don't want to.
Right. No, you don't care about it because you have an agenda.
You get asked a tough question and you run and hide.
Have your agenda, Aidan.
Okay.
And good luck. Okay. Because you were disingenuous. You didn't. I offered you an opportunity.
You're running away. Yeah, you're running away scared because
you're
scared of me now. You're scared of me now.
You told me before the show you were going to vote for Kevin O'Connor, and I said
you'll have a good time with
them. Money to Markey, and that he was supported by Baker. You said I'm not going to vote for him.
You know why Kevin O'Connor won, Shiva? Because he's a fucking adult. He's an adult.
For a guy who's a nobody.
And this conversation is exactly why.
This is what it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unfortunate because you're disingenuous. And some people have called you the not so obvious establishment.
No, nobody told me that except you.
It's like you really need
you in your little world. That's all it is.
Someone like me not to go to truth, but to have a conversation with yourself.
You haven't told the truth yet.
I'd expected more of you.
Okay. Well, you've yet to answer a question. You're afraid to answer the questions. I get that.
No, you're afraid because you need eyeballs.
I don't need eyeballs. I get eyeballs.
For your eyeballs. So
I certainly don't need to run her up in the GOP primary.
Whatever ad revenue you get and that you need, you can have your little echo chamber do that.
Yeah.
But this was about a conversation. And
Shiva,
it's
I don't
unfortunate
need the
that
last
you don't
place
really want to
finisher
get to
in
the
GOP
heart,
primary. I
because
don't need
you
last
are
place
getting
finisher in
viewers
GOP
claiming you're
primary.
against Baker, but you're not against Baker. You're using people
I'm
to
not?
act, and that's taking advantage of people. That's what you're doing.
Oh, right. Okay. So bottom
You're
line
taking
is,
advantage of your viewers. You claim
Yeah.
you're against Baker, and
I
you're
am.
here to defend a situation where
This is what
an
you do.
election was stolen.
You got
Where
asked
guys
a
with no
question,
visibility
and then you just
to
go
their
on this thing
organization,
about
and you're
deep state
defending
and Baker, and your followers are
that's what
very
you're doing.
stupid, so they'll get distracted by
That's
this,
what you're doing.
and we will
And
forget.
you,
that
don't, you,
forgot
you,
to
you
answer
were
the question.
disingenuous.
That's your game. That's
and
your
you
game.
didn't want to have a conversation. You're just talking to yourself.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to waste my time. So I wish you well. Have a good time with your show.
Okay. Have a great night. Running away. So there you go, right there. That's why Shiva lost. That's why I lost, folks. That's, I don't know what to say. The fact I liked Shiva before. Like I said, the only reason I wanted him to win was because it doesn't matter who wins the Republican primary, they're going to lose anyway. So I just wanted crazy. Let's be honest. That conversation that I just had with him, picture him having that same conversation with Ed Markey on the debate stage. But then again, he probably wouldn't debate Ed Markey because he would just go on a rant about how, oh, I'm not doing that because those cocksuckers over at WBZ and the Boston Globe, and they want me to do that. I'm not in the deep state, and they're not. Let me ask you a question, Aidan. Do you know what the definition of visibility is? What are you talking about? So this is what he would. That's the only reason I wanted him to win, is because I thought we could get a little bit of crazy for 2 months there. That's it. There's no chance he can win. There's no chance Kevin O'Connor can win. I mean, even Kevin O'Connor is at least an adult. Jeff Deal was boring as shit. And I told people in 2018, Jeff Deal's got no chance of winning this whatsoever. And Turtle Rider's like, yes, he does. No. He doesn't. It's Massachusetts. No one's going to be Pocahontas. It's not how it works. I hate her too, but I'm an adult and I can accept reality. And the same with Markey. Okay. You can't beat him in Massachusetts, especially in a presidential election year. But at least we could get a little bit of crazy. That's the only reason I wanted Shiva. Now that it's going to be Kevin O'Connor, it's going to be a little bit more boring because Kevin O'Connor's a grown-up. I mean, that's the best way I can describe him. And you heard Shiva on there. It's like every time, and he wants to go back to his echo chamber. If you go to his page, it's some of the stupidest people in the world on there. Like, I did a blog on the dumbest 11 comments I could find, but I could find hundreds more like that. Like, the man has provided zero evidence of voter fraud. Zero. They don't care. They're just like, well, yeah, fraud, yeah, deep state, swamp, Charlie Baker is corrupt, yeah, deep state. The truth of the matter is that Shiva lost the election because he had no visibility. Like, your Facebook page, having 250,000 followers on Facebook is worth jack dick if they don't live in Massachusetts and can't vote for you. None of those people, like all these people are talking about from like Ohio and Iowa on there, like Donald Trump Jr. follows him. That's great. Donald Trump Jr. doesn't live in Massachusetts and can't vote for him. So it's kind of useless. Doesn't do him much good. You need people to vote for him. Right? Everybody I know, like, people were sending me their Rayla Campbell ballots yesterday. I asked people to take pictures and send them in. Almost every single one of them also checked off Kevin O'Connor. Even if they hadn't heard of him, whatever. I guess they had heard of him. He has commercials, whatever. Either way, it was a boring fucking election. Like, nobody cared about the Republican primary this time around. The fact that it had the same amount of votes as last time is actually impressive. It should have had less votes because this time around, people had an option. In 2018, Elizabeth Warren ran unopposed in the Democratic primary, so you might as well take a Republican ballot and vote in that one. This time around, there was two primaries, and one of them was arguably the most contested and highly publicized primary election in my lifetime. Ed Markey, a sitting United States Senator backed by the Squad, versus a Kennedy who's backed by Nancy Pelosi and the establishment. I mean, that's a sexy election right there. So that's the one everyone's talking. The fact that nobody gave a shit about Kevin O'Connor versus Shiva. You kidding me? The fact that they got the same amount of votes as last time is actually surprising. I would have guessed less votes. And Shiva, his whole thing was that, Well, Bill Galvin said that 25%. I don't know why he wouldn't want to talk about this because he ranted to me on the phone about this all day yesterday. His whole argument was that 25% increase should have happened this time. So, whatever, what's 25% of 260,000, whatever that is, like 70,000. Is that right? Yeah, about 70,000. So he's saying 70,000 votes are missing. We'll round that up to 100. So he just throws 100,000 votes are just missing out there. And by the way, those 100,000 missing ballots, every single one of them was for him. You got that? Every single one of them is for him. So that means systematically, because no single precinct in this state had 100,000 people show up. That means systematically, statewide, there was a massive, massive conspiracy at all the poll places, all the little old ladies running the polls. They all took votes for Shiva. And once they went through the machine, they took them out. They went in there, they took them out, and they threw them away. And then they called each other. How many Shiva votes did you rip up? How many Shiva votes did you rip up? 50? Better make it 100. Better make it 100. The deep Charlie Baker wants you to do this, okay? Charlie Baker wants you to get on this. So get on that, and you need to get rid of all these ballots, okay? So every single one of those 100,000 missing ballots, we're all for him. We're all for him, of course. Because the idea that he would lose is preposterous. Sure, he refused to debate, which might impact his visibility. I don't know. He refused to do any interviews with the media because it's all the deep state, of course, right? So his entire campaign was just him getting in a bus and driving around through Western Massachusetts, which, by the way, he dominated Western Massachusetts. I went to Charlemont last week. Shiva signs all over the place. He kicked ass in Coleraine. He had a goddamn Coleraine. The problem is 50 people live in Coleraine. He kicked ass in Charlemont. He kicked ass in Shelburne Falls and Athol. The biggest city he won was Gardner. He won the Quabbin towns. He won like 50 towns. But the problem is nobody lives in those towns. And Kevin O'Connor won Worcester, Springfield, Boston, Haverhill, you name it. Cambridge, won them all. And that's where all the people are. So that's why he lost. Because Shiva just disregards those people. He's like, I don't need them. They're following me on Facebook. Everybody knows who I am. Who the fuck is Kevin O'Connor? He only has 5,000 followers on Facebook. Guess what? Facebook's not real life. Twitter's not real life. And yard signs certainly are not real life. That is why you lost the election. I actually went into it thinking there was no polls, of course, in this. Contrary to what he said, there's no polls taken in this. And so I thought he had a shot. But clearly, at the end of the day, people know what Shiva's deal is. That tape with him, go back and watch with Howie. Like, he loses his mind on that. That was the first time you saw what he was like under pressure when somebody actually asks Shiva questions. When people ask Shiva questions, tough questions, which you'll have to do if you want to become a United States Senator, you need to be able to ask questions. You can't just blow people off and be like, well, I'm going to go and come on my stream. Huh? Why can't, like, no, you can't tell WBZ, come on my stream. What? No, they're the one broadcasting the goddamn debate. You go on theirs. That's how it works. You don't just get to make up the rules as you go along. But bottom line is, guys, either Shiva's insane, either he's insane or he's the ultimate con artist. I can't figure it out. Why don't you guys vote in the comments right now? Vote 1 if you think he's insane, and 2 if you think he's a con artist. Go. 1 insane, 2 con artist. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. You can't do 1 and 2 because it's got to be either or. Either, okay, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Oh, it's pretty close here. A lot of 1s coming in. Okay. Oh, a lot of 1s. Let me ask people who voted for him, do you regret it after watching this? Do you regret voting for Shiva after watching this? Or are you like me? You're like, I don't care. I like that, actually. Because if this was a close election, I would want a serious candidate. Shiva's not a serious candidate, obviously, as we saw tonight. So I figure if you're going to lose, you might as well go down in a ball of fire. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty 50. So either he's insane or he is a con artist, and I can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. I'm starting to think con artist because I don't think he actually wants to win these elections. I just think he has fun doing it. If he wanted to win the elections, he would do things to try to win. He's not doing anything to try to win. Like, whether or not you like it, you have to debate. You have to debate your opponent. And he was invited by the Mass GOP to debate Kevin O'Connor, and he turned it down. And whether or not he likes it, those people matter. If you're trying to win the Republican primary, those people matter. You have to win them over. And he didn't do that. Every single state representative, every single state senator who's a Republican in the state, Mark Lombardo, Ryan Fatman, Kim Ferguson, doesn't matter. They all, I mean, I had Tatiana on my show last week. She endorsed Kevin O'Connor. They all endorsed Kevin O'Connor. And Kevin O'Connor is going to come on here next week. I'm going to have him on Tuesday. We're going to interview him and talk about that. And it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. Certainly the next 2 months is going to be more boring without Shiva in it. I'll give him that. But he's an entertainer. He's not a serious politician. He doesn't want to win the election. And he made that very, very obvious tonight. So, okay. And the whole thing, just turning it around constantly. And he knows his followers are stupid. He knows none of them ask questions. None of them ask, like, is there evidence of this? None of them ask that. And that's the way he likes it. He likes stupid. And maybe he thought I was that guy, but clearly I'm not. And he should know better than that. I'm not a fucking moron. And obviously he would prefer to go there where nobody questions him. That's what he wants. That's why he doesn't debate. He's afraid. He's afraid to debate them, period. So, all right. Any questions you guys have? Ask away. He has zero visibility of his dick. Okay. And if anybody who wants to, how about this? Anybody who wants to defend Shiva, I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the comments. You can click on that link and come on. Hopefully your phone works better than Shiva's because I'm not calling you on the phone. Yeah, Courtney. Yeah, Courtney. If Courtney wants to come on, she can. I mean, I don't know how Courtney can defend that after I saw it. So let me take a quick. Let me thank people in the donos here. AP Indy says, for aspirin after Shiva. Yes, I'm going to need it. M Job says, whatever the podcast interview version of the Purple Heart is, you earned it for talking to that lunatic Shiva for an hour. I tried. Anonymous, thank you. Brenda Marshall says, for public speaking classes for Shiva. Contribution to that. White Boy says, F Black Lives Matter, the organization, not Black Lives. Bong Hits says $20 for 100 million and $5 to fix the banner. So if anybody wants to come on, I just put that on there. And I welcome you. I mean, I welcome anybody that wants to come on here and explain to me how you can justify what we just saw right there. I saw somebody in the comments saying that you got to give him a chance to talk. Well, he did most of the talking. Let's be honest there. And I listened, but he was getting so off topic. It's like, we're here to talk. You're making a claim, a very serious claim of election fraud. Let's talk about that. Can you back that up? How in this election, there is election fraud. And what did he do? He went on a rant about, well, let me tell you, 7 years ago, there was a guy named Mark Fisher and ballots were being destroyed. There was a guy that saw it. You didn't talk to that guy. I talked to that guy. And then there's the deep state. And it's like, but that's what he does. Like, he just mind fucks you. Okay. I guess Shiva's back. Shiva's back.
Not Shiva. I just put the name because I don't want to use my name. I don't know nothing about you or the show. This is my first time tuning in.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
So what you got?
I don't know. I figured you'd have something for me, and then maybe I could respond better. I'll try because
okay. So do you think
to me as well? So
do you think there was voter fraud in this election?
I do, and I can tell you why, because I've worked through many campaigns, 3 presidential campaigns and 2 local office campaigns.
Okay.
I've worked at polls. I've worked at precincts.
Okay.
I've met plants on the ground.
You're doing the Shiva thing. You're ranting about other things. What evidence do you have? What evidence do you have that voter fraud took place in this election?
Oh, in this election. So
Yes.
I guess my question, until all of the evidence, which you would need, right? We need the pictures of the ballots and the actual voter registration and match it up, right?
Yes.
To account for everyone like you would a thorough recount. I guess I would ask, what proof do you have that fraud didn't take place?
It's not my job to prove fraud didn't take place. You're making the allegation, not me.
But it's only about 24 hours into it. Don't you think it might take a while to?
He lost by 53,000 votes. He didn't lose by 100 votes. He lost by 53,000.
Okay, so here we go with this. Okay, this is one thing to take into consideration, just maybe. So there's a lot of things out there that have said, predicting that there were going to be more voters in this Republican primary than previous years, and yet it was like identical. So the increase that they said that was going to happen is gone.
Can I interrupt you right there?
Yeah, please.
That's not true.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's not.
What were last year's and the year prior voter?
How many people voted in the primary in the Massachusetts primary in 2018?
For the Republican Party, you tell me.
No, in the Massachusetts primary, total, Democrat and Republican.
Well, I'm going off of just the Republican.
No, but I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this.
Ballot.
The answer to that question is 850,000 people voted in 2018 primary election. Okay, in 2020. It was 1.65 million. So it doubled. So it wasn't a 25% increase. It was actually a 100% increase.
Right.
However, the increase happened in the Democratic Party for obvious reasons. And you know that reason is that was a much sexier and more publicized election.
Right. So, but the articles the increase was specifically geared about the Republican vote. The Republican vote was.
What article is this? Where did you see that?
I'll find it and I'll post it. There was more than one.
Show me. Yeah, sure. I mean, I've looked for it. I've researched. Shiva mentioned that.
I'm actually not even on my phone because I don't have a YouTube account, and I kept on trying to do it so I could chat, and so then I stole someone else's phone.
Yeah. So Shiva's whole argument was that Bill Galvin estimated that voter turnout would increase by 25%. Well, it actually increased by 100%, and I'm not
sure about that one. I didn't read that one, but.
So, yeah, I mean, there was nothing. It was just he claims he had a conversation with Galvin. So there's no.
Oh.
So we're just taking his word for it. But either way, it actually increased much more than 25%. But that increase was for the Democratic ballot because that was a much more compelling election. The Shiva election wasn't interesting because Shiva didn't debate. And so it's not on TV. So nobody knows who Shiva is then, unless you're following him on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he goes out on the ground. He would go to about 3 to 4 towns a day.
Yeah, but who's there to watch?
They were there, trust me.
I've seen the crowds. I saw 10 people in New Bedford. I'm talking to 10 people.
Oh, those might be little clips where he's being very interactive, like close up, I mean, when you're doing 3 to 4 a day and he did this for 4 months, I'm pretty sure you're speaking about one specifically only, but that's okay.
Okay. So your whole argument. Do you have anything else to add besides?
No, I'm not. I don't know if I'm arguing. I think I was just putting an input. Maybe that's what you want to prop people up to do.
I'll tell you one thing. You gave me more input than Shiva did.
Well, that's just because you have to understand. If I was in his shoes, not only would I be cussing, I'd probably be in tears because the man is the most genuine person I've ever met in my life, and he works his butt off for other people. And so I would take that personally too, when you're constantly, supposedly, just kind of interrogated to the point like he's the criminal. All he's doing is trying to raise awareness about.
No, all he's doing is what he's doing is
health.
Do you understand what's
That's all he's doing.
What you're doing right now when you say that's like a cultish thing when you just truth, freedom, and health. Freedom, and health. That's kind of weird.
No, it's actually been contextualized by him many times, which each one of those things mean. When he does lives, they're 2 hours long and they're very
So you have no evidence. You have no evidence voter fraud took place. None.
And you don't have any evidence.
But I'm not the one making the claim. You are. So it's up to you to provide the evidence.
You're making a claim that there was not fraud.
Because
there's a duality in this, and you're playing it.
That's ridiculous. You don't have in the United States of America. You don't have to prove a negative.
Truth. Yes, you do.
No, you don't. That's not how United States of America works. Are you new?
How long are you going to entertain these fucking retards?
Yeah, I mean, this is like you've
yet to like talking to the 3-6 Mafia.
What do you got, Bret? What do you got to say to her?
No, none of these fucking assholes can answer. Hey, shut up, cunt. The adults are gonna fucking talk. None of these fucking assholes can answer a question, man.
They can't.
They all just fucking talk around your questions.
Yep.
Well, he's a fucking bet. Shut up. Listen, go make me a sandwich and fucking mop the floor or something, you silly cunt. Shut your fucking mouth. You had your chance. You didn't want to answer. Shiva is a fucking retard. That guy licks windows on his way to work. Guaranteed.
Even know calls people out by the C word.
The C word, you can say it. Cunt. It's okay. Cunt.
To mop your floor, you think that a woman should be mopping your
Not my floor. You should mop the floor in your home, you dirty bitch. Shut the fuck up. He's been asking you questions all fucking night, and you won't answer them.
I answered.
No, you don't. You talk around him like a fucking retard, man.
Answered, would you want something super simplified and dumbed down and overgeneralized, correct? What I mean,
yeah, because we're all dumb. I forgot. We're all dumb.
Yeah,
I know.
That's
what Shiva did to. That's what Shiva did to Aidan. It talked down to him, try to make it like he's stupid.
Why don't you want the recount yourself? Why wouldn't you?
Because hey,
Time out. Can I answer that, Bret? Can I answer that, Bret?
You think I have the ballots in my car?
Can I answer your question?
Probably.
Hold on. You're asking me why you don't the recounts? You don't recount elections where you lose by 53,000 votes. A recount happens when you lose by 1%, not 53,000.
That's very convenient. All the people who are listening that were in the chat trying to act like Shiva was going off and he like he's some horrible person. I hope you just witnessed. I hope you just witnessed how that person just spoke to me. And
hey, listen, not that person. Bret Matthew Caloran, motherfucker. And I'm not running for fucking office. That's the difference. I'm not running for shit.
You're absolutely hypocritical. Obviously, we have to have people who run for office who will stand their ground in conviction and speak back to people like you. Maybe that's what he needs to do. And then when you set him up to do that, then you bash
set him up. Like he was asked to prove voter fraud.
Right?
Oh my God.
One rule for you, another one for him. Isn't that convenient? The man that earned everything in his life, right?
The guy that scared to debate other politicians. We know.
And what is that a picture of? Is that a man or a woman, Bret?
Oh, it's kind of a hybrid.
That's my husband. That's my husband. That's my fucking husband, you fucking homophobe.
I believe it could be.
It's like halfway in.
Could be. That's my husband.
Yeah,
that's right when I put the tip in, and that's the face he made.
That makes a lot of sense. So
listen,
I mean,
you keep fucking around. I'll fuck Shiva.
Should we be wanting people that are more aggressive like Shiva who have the audacity to use a cuss
aggressive? He wouldn't answer a question. He's a scared little girl.
She was a bitch tonight. Come on.
So horrible. I mean,
Shiva was a bitch.
He's
Come
a
on,
baby.
you know he was a little bitch tonight. He ran from
me.
Baby.
A bitch when he talks shit back. I mean, what's the problem?
But he doesn't talk shit back. He goes, evidence is a preponderance of Disney Studios. And he just regurgitates bullshit because he avoids conversations.
He's a con artist. You got conned. It's okay to admit you got conned.
No.
And you're the one carrying his tampons, lady.
You got
tampons and sandwiches.
You fell for the music man, girl.
Policy and about
on gluten-free bread, I bet.
Policy. Shiva doesn't talk about policy. He just talks about the deep state.
You like to wear masks, don't you?
Shiva got his ass. He cannot stand the fact that he got his ass beat. Your boy got his ass beat.
Shut down. You must love not having anything open for small businesses. You must love wearing a mask everywhere you go.
No, what are you talking about?
Love not going to work so that you can get your relief check.
Kevin O'Connor is against what? Kevin O'Connor is against all those things too, right? The Republican nominee.
I've never ever heard him say any of those things.
Well, he has. He has. Yeah, because you're living in the echo chamber.
No, I've watched all his things. No, he's wore a mask to plenty of places. He's videotaped with a mask.
You have to wear a mask to some places. You have no choice.
You don't have to do anything. You never saw
Shiva wears a mask all the time. He pretends to be a politician.
There's no mask. When show me one video or photo with Shiva wearing a mask.
He wears a mask constantly. He pretends he wears a mask. He's a pretender. He's a con man.
There's no
and he's a
mask.
bitch.
I've seen him
Okay.
personally.
Well,
He's a little baby.
we're gonna let her go because you're. Are you having
I
anything?
know you don't like hearing. You want to talk about echo chambers, but then you
No,
want
you
to
just
want to
you haven't made a point yet. You've been on for 15 minutes.
Call them cunts, and call them names, and talk over them, and then
He didn't call you that. He didn't call you that. I did.
It's been 15 minutes.
He let you, and then
let him.
He left me. What is he, my father?
What are you put him on a leash?
Followers. You have the audacity to call them dumb, and then you let this person.
They are dumb. They're very stupid people. Go to
Did you not see the comments under Shiva's post?
Yeah,
your guest proved who was actually.
Oh, Bret is so much smarter than any Shiva. Like, are you kidding me? Those are the stupidest people on earth. And you're actually one of the smarter ones, which is sad.
Like mothers and nurses
and evidence is created by
TikTok. Not a single nurse voted for Shiva. Not one nurse voted for Shiva. That's a lie.
I dare you to go out with him and go to one of his standouts and tell that to them in their face.
All 10 of them?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll tell all 10 people that I see at the next rally in Courtney.
Go to their face and tell them that.
Have you ever been to Courtney?
Tell doctors and nurses and business.
There are no doctors and nurses in Courtney. That's Shiva's territory.
And
okay.
everything else, and go ahead and tell them how horrible they are.
Okay, I will do. I gotta talk to you later. Bye bye. Okay, so that was fun, Bret.
So I'm watching this when you talking to that Shiva. And every time you had a legitimate question, he just fucking like clings it off. He's got this way of trying to fucking deflect it and then call you names and talk down to you, and you need eyeballs.
I'm an engineer.
Right, hold on.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck that you lost. And I'm gonna you're Springfield's Gaffney, son. Losers lose. You're a fucking loser. And we wanted you to win because it would have been fucking entertaining.
Yes. That's it.
Evidence is a fairy tale created by the elite silence cult. No, man. Evidence is proof. Yeah. You have no proof.
Yeah. I mean, it's like he said he's made the allegation that voter fraud happened. And I'm like, okay, so what evidence? Aidan, I didn't know this was a setup. If this is a setup, I'm going to walk off. Okay, Shiva.
Well, how many times did he threaten that, though?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not going to let me say whatever I want and fucking deflect and act like a cunt, then I'm going to hang up.
Yeah. So I want
45 minutes later, he still didn't answer one fucking question.
Nothing. And Courtney M's in the comments. Courtney, I mean, you're talking in the comments. Come on here. Come on the stream. I'll put you on, girl. If you want to say something, say it. I want to know, and I'm not interested. If your answer is go out on the trail with them, that's not an answer. Good. That's not an answer. Show me how voter fraud happened. How did voter fraud happen?
I'm using that from now on. Every time I get mad at you, I'm going to call you disingenuous.
Disingenuous, yes. This is a setup. This is a setup from the deep state and Charlie Baker. You're a bigger boy. You're a bigger boy.
You need eyeballs.
Yeah, we all know that I say a lot of great things about Charlie Baker on this stream. We all know that. I mean,
it's just so I see why you lost. Oh, I get it now.
It makes sense, I mean? Right? We all learned something tonight. That's why
he's like, well, what? He didn't like a question you asked. Immediately goes to a Bret answer. Frankly, well, why don't you just go suck his cock? It's like, whoa, what the fuck?
And that's very mature, by the way. So the guy's name is Kevin O'Connor. And so when I spoke to Shiva earlier today, he agreed to come on yesterday. And so around 7:00, he messaged me and he's like, oh, I'm not coming on because I've talked to my lawyers, and my lawyers told me not to. We're withholding evidence. So they got the evidence. They're not going to show us yet. And my lawyers advised me not to talk about it. I'm like, Shiva, you've posted about it all fucking day about voter fraud. You're posting on Twitter and Facebook. Clearly, you're not afraid to talk about it. So why don't you come on the show and we'll talk about it? And you know what he said to me? He goes, are you voting for Kevin O'Connor in the general election? And I said, yes, I am talking to Kevin O'Connor Jon, I'm going to bring you in 1 second. I said, I am talking to Kevin O'Connor. I am voting for Kevin O'Connor in the general election. And he goes, what? I'm not coming on your show if you vote for Kevin O'Connor. I go, why wouldn't I vote? I'm voting Republican down the fucking ballot. That's what I'm doing. Why wouldn't I do that? And he found that unacceptable. And as a prerequisite to come on the stream, he demanded that I refer to Kevin O'Connor as cock. He goes, you have to call him cock. And I said, sure, Shiva, whatever. I'll call him
cock. How crazy is that?
That's insane. Absolutely insane. He wants to be a United States
Your
Senator.
girl Courtney said in the comments that you're too angry to have a discussion, so she's not gonna.
She's scared. She's scared. She's scared. But I'm going to drop you and bring on Jon Fetherston, all right?
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. So bringing on Jon Fetherston here. I don't know, where are you in the Kirkman? Are you I don't know your official role in that, Jon.
What's up, man?
So John's a prominent Republican and from Ashland, former selectman, enemy of Bob Murchison. What do you got, Jon?
You know, I've had many battles with Shiva over the years, and I've never met a bigger fool than Shiva.
What'd you think of tonight's show? What don't you like about it?
I thought it was great. You handled that lunatic very well. Did
we lose you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you handled that lunatic very, very well.
What history do you have with him?
I've had a lot of history with Shiva. 2 years ago, when Jeff Deal debated Elizabeth Warren outside the WGBY studios.
Oh, I remember that.
John Dennis from WEEI, from the old Kirk and Callahan days.
Yeah.
And I were walking out of the GBY studios, and once again, Shiva did not debate because he was afraid to debate. He didn't get on the debate stage at the WBZ debate or the WGBY out in Springfield. And he somehow blamed me for keeping him off of the stage. I've got it all on video. I'll be happy to share it with you.
Please do.
Before, he laid down in the street.
I remember that.
Field Road outside the WBZ studios. I literally almost ran him over with my car because why would somebody be laying down in the middle of the road? And in Sherborne, of all places, I hosted a GOP debate with Beth Lindstrom, John Kingston, and Jeff Deal, and Shiva. And you would have thought Shiva was my best friend, even though after I had these confrontations with him, he wanted to know what the rules of the debate were to make sure it was all going to be fair. He's just a fraud. You nailed it.
Yeah.
He wants to run for office and pretend that he's somebody, but there's no substance there.
Do you think he wants to win? I feel like
No.
before, I don't think he had any, that's one thing I learned tonight is I don't think he has any intention of winning. I don't think he wants to win. I don't think he wants to be a senator. I think he just wants to put on a show. That's all he wants to do is just put on his show, do stunts like this. Here's him being, did he get arrested this night when they wouldn't let him debate?
They took him into, what do they call it? Protection. They didn't arrest him, but they gave him safety.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Anything else, Jon?
I think it's going to be real interesting that he's going to have to be able, if Mass GOP is going to have to go after him for accusing him of fraud. There's no fraud. It'd be interesting if Mass GOP does take a stand against him.
What could they do? What's their option? Like sue him?
Well, it's defamation of character, right?
But what are the damages? You need damages for defamation. I'm quite skilled in defamation.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I'm well versed.
It's just pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on.
Good work.
I appreciate it, Jon. All right. If anybody else wants to call in, by the way, you're more than welcome to. I'll go ahead one more time before we call it a night. Any questions you guys have, let me know. And I can answer any questions and whatever. All right. Doesn't Jon Fetherston look like Mike Pence? Don't you guys think that? He's got a little Mike Pence vibe to him. I always thought that. Can you define evidence? Fuck you, Benjamin. Fuck you. God damn you. Oh, Courtney's going to call in? I mean, Courtney, I don't bite. You're a turtle rider, aren't you? Okay, so Courtney's here. I'm going to have a respectful conversation with Courtney. Hello, Courtney.
Hi, Aidan.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, like you said, I am a turtle rider. And I didn't care about politics at all until I met Dr. Shiva a few weeks ago, because the things that he truly believes in are things that align with what I believe in, about having personal truth, finding truth, personal freedom of health, freedom of anything.
Tom, can I interrupt you right there?
Yeah.
The things that you're saying right now, like personal truth, these are, I don't want to insult you, but those are like cultish things to say. Those are not political terms. Those are cultish terms.
He's not a politician. That's the thing.
But the problem with that is he's running for political office.
He is running for political office so that he can start a revolution, just like you have started a revolution with Turtleboy.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to become a United States senator.
No, you're not trying to become a United States senator, but you do try to spread truth every day when you write all of your blogs. And that is what he's doing too. He is trying to spread truth. He wants people.
Time out.
Okay.
So when I spread truth, I always back it up. I always have evidence. I have links. I
understand that.
Right, but Shiva has none of that.
He does. Okay, he does explain things in a very scientific way because he is a scientist. And yeah, he does come off as arrogant because some of the things that he says sound very, very smart. And just because we don't talk the same way as him doesn't mean that we're not smart. But like, what we need is to unite with him so that we can keep spreading truth. You are all about truth.
But the things that you're saying right now are so substance free. Like, what does that mean?
I really can't explain it for everyone. I can just explain it for myself, which is that like I said, I've never cared about politics or anything until I met Dr. Shiva in Webster a few weeks ago.
But you understand how cultish that sounds, right?
I do understand it sounds cultish. Yes, absolutely.
Like it's like it sounds like a pyramid scheme. Like I am
definitely against pyramid schemes too. I can't stand LuLaRoe. I can't stand any of those.
If you substituted Dr. Shiva for Herbalife right now, you wouldn't know the difference. Like I never thought I would get into selling pyramid schemes, but then I tried this one and I really liked it because this pyramid scheme is the truth.
Yeah, I understand. It does sound crazy. I mean, I am a relatively new Shiva follower, so I'm still like figuring out my own alignment.
Can I ask you something? Don't you think he came across as a little bit like
he did come across as arrogant? He does, but so don't you sometimes, Aidan.
Yeah, but I'm not running for Senate.
No, I understand you're not running for Senate,
right?
But you do realize that you also come across the same way that Shiva does.
Yeah, but I'm not running for Senate. That's the big difference.
Yes, I agree with you. You are not running for Senate.
So he should come across differently than I should. And he should debate. First of all, one thing difference between him and I'm not afraid of a debate. He is, clearly.
I wouldn't say he's afraid of a debate. He is he wants to keep
of course he's afraid of debate. He wouldn't debate Kevin O'Connor. Why wouldn't he debate him?
He told you that. He told you the reason.
He didn't tell me that. He just talked about what's the definition of evidence. Like what? Why wouldn't he debate Kevin O'Connor?
Because he is coming up with a lawsuit right now. I mean, he can't necessarily.
Wait, but no, he turned him down months ago.
Okay, and that was part of his strategy.
Was what?
Every politician has a strategy.
No politician besides Joe Biden has ever not wanted to debate, and we all know the reason Joe Biden doesn't want to debate is because he'll look stupid.
Joe Biden is literally insane and has dementia.
Okay,
we all know that.
Right, and so and right now that's Shiva's peer group is Joe Biden. Those are the two that don't want to debate. Shiva and Biden.
Well, that's true. Actually, Biden doesn't want to debate Trump.
Yeah, and Shiva doesn't want to debate O'Connor.
But I think that if we really look at things, we will notice that we have a lot more in common with Dr. Shiva's his core ideals than we think.
Okay. All right. Well, I got somebody else I'm going to come on. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. All right. So we got Ozzy, fangirl here. Let me unmute her. Ozzy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What do you got?
I'm definitely changing my vote against Shiva.
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm good.
So I definitely changed my vote against Shiva tonight after the way how we talked.
Again, it's so distant wherever you are. I can barely hear you.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, so I definitely changed my vote against Shiva tonight after the way his behavior was. The way how he was, could you imagine if he was in leadership? The way how he talks against you, like let's say you went against, let's say you supported him, right? He's talking you down. Like that's not what you do. You're supposed to lift up the people supporting you. You're supposed to lift up your community.
The problem with Shiva is that everything has to be on his terms. And that's just not the way the world works. Like, so, like if you're going to, people have to ask you questions. And if you don't like the questions, you got to answer them anyway. You can't be like,
exactly.
Well, this is a setup. I'm not answering this. I'm walking off. Well, then you're not going to go anywhere. And I don't think he wants to go anywhere.
See, tonight you showed, for example, somebody challenging him and questioning him that, you know, a typical Shiva supporter should have done. And you weren't, you know, disgustingly rude or anything. You're bold, you're brassy. That's how you're supposed to do when you're questioning these so-called leaders.
Yeah, I think Shiva thought it was kind of
if he can't handle criticism, I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here and learn your role as a leader. Show respect.
Yep.
Okay, I swear like a sailor. I'll admit that. But when you're in leadership, you need to show professionalism. You need to represent the community with respect and dignity. He acted like he was 18 years old. He made Charlie Manson sound like a sane person, and Charlie Manson's dead.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Ozzy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Have a good night. All right. So if anybody else has any more last minute questions, this is a hell of a fucking Thursday night stream we just had. Jesus Christ. That was interesting. Only a Turtleboy, folks. Only a Turtleboy. Do you get stuff like this on here? Somebody asked, has he debated? But no, he's never debated before there. And that whole stunt he pulled, like, you know, sitting down and getting arrested or whatever, like he wanted that. He didn't want to debate because he wouldn't know what to do. If he was up there, picture a moderator asking him questions. What would he say? Well, I don't like that question. You're just asking me that question because you're from the deep state. Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. Anyway, if you have any more last minute questions, fire away, and then we'll call it a night. I forged all the Coleraine voter ballots. Yeah. All 50 of them. All 50. Oh, that's a good question. Miss G.I. Turtle says, Unc, you need to rephrase it better, differently for people like Shiva. I voted for you. What happened to my ballot? He couldn't answer that. I mean, I did ask him tonight, well, where all these ballots, where are they? You're saying 100,000 ballots are gone. Where are they? And he couldn't answer that because he's making it up as he goes along. He has no evidence this happens whatsoever. And nobody is exposed. And I didn't mean to expose Shiva tonight, but he's never been exposed as bad as he was. I mean, his political career is done after this. I mean, you saw what happened tonight. You thought the Howie Carr interview was bad. That was nothing. That was a walk in the park. And I was friendlier than Howie Carr would have been. I mean, he did 90% of the talking. I asked fair questions and he just lost it. He couldn't keep his composure. Could not keep his composure. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Shiva fucked Fran Dresser. Well, that's his ex-wife. That's correct. His ex-wife is the nanny. That must have been a fun conversation. Must have been an interesting relationship. That's all I got to say about that. People say it's a legal issue at this point, but it's not even a legal issue. Like, what's his lawyer going to do? I mean, whoever the lawyer is just running up the bill. I feel bad for people that donated to Shiva. Those are the people that got conned here because they donated all this money for what? For a election, for a campaign that had no intention of winning. And like, you know, he took advantage of people that don't know anything about politics, that don't know how an election works, that don't know how debates work, that don't know how, you know, this works. The people that got involved in politics for the first time, and they're just easily manipulated, easily duped. They donated and they got a show up. And no matter what happened, he had to tell them at the end, oh no, we got screwed. They screwed you guys. They didn't count your votes. And they're like, yeah, fuck evidence. They screwed us. The deep state. So. Okay. Any more questions, guys? People see, I mean, that whole like truth, freedom, and health. Truth. I mean, that's a cult. That's a cult when you start saying stuff like that. Truth, freedom, and health. Well, here's the truth. He wouldn't answer anything. The truth is he wouldn't tell me the truth tonight. I asked him some pretty basic questions. Couldn't answer them. So much for the truth. Yeah, talked a lot about dongs. A lot of dong talk tonight, Paulie Mac. Exactly, David. He's been posting about it nonstop, but he can't talk about it because it's a legal matter. It's a slogan, not a cult. All cults have slogans. That's part of being in a cult. You just repeat the same things. Like the Democratic Party is similar to a cult too. I'm not going to lie. Except they use words like hope and anti-racism and stuff like that. Social justice. Black Lives Matter is also a cult. A lot of cults going around these days. It was good to hear from Bret tonight because Bret could say what a lot of you guys were thinking in only the way that he can. I do repeat the same things like FUPA because I'm a comedian. I'm an entertainer. I'm a blogger, but I'm also an entertainer. So I say FUPA a lot because it's a funny word. It's one of the best words I've ever heard in my life. Down with Ted Sellers. Minifans in there. You Minifans. Did I win you over yet, Minifans? Are you back on my team or what? This was fun. You got to be honest. This was fun. This is better than parody songs, what we had tonight. You got to be honest. Even Patrick Peely knows that. Bret killed That's My Husband. I laughed so hard. Who's that guy? I don't know who that guy is. Oh, if you only know. If you only knew. She's going to be texting me. I can already feel it. What's the definition of evidence? Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. Okay. I don't do parody songs. I do rap. I do freestyles. I'm a world-class rapper. Kearney 2024. You guys know I can't win office. You guys know I'm not electable. Picture all the shit they pull up on me. All the shit I've said. All the sound clips. God, Bret would have his own commercial. I'd have to disavow Bret alone. That would take a year to do. Oi. Okay. All right, guys. If we don't have any more questions, then I guess we will call it a night. I don't want to miss anybody if they donated. We're good. Okay. All right, guys. Great show. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all on Saturday night for the live show. Peace, Turtle Riders.